Top of the morning to you, man, Don Dingoes. Basically, my fourth video. Yibbida yibbida. This one is about failing, and the title is What If I Fail? And I guess the reason that I said what if I fail is to try and get people who might be thinking, you know, that might be their sort of key thing that they put in to search for, and this might maybe be helpful, because it only just kind of clicked to me in the last few months actually what all these like self-help gurus and everyone's kind of talking about when they talk about it's good to fail. Like, I never really got that. I was like, what? How can it be? What? It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, we spend our entire life trying not to fail, and from a young age we're punished for failing as well, in the sense of at school you do poorly on an exam or a test or some sort of assessment, you're punished for that. And I think it's ingrained in us from teachers and parents from a young age that it's bad to fail. And I definitely 100% thought that, and I never saw the logic in failing as a positive thing, but I'm going to try and explain what I mean. So when I was 29, 30, so that's 8 years ago now, I started my apprenticeship in carpentry, and I did a mature age apprenticeship. I'd done other things before. I'd done uni study, kind of floated around, didn't really know what I was doing with my life. And leading up to doing that apprenticeship, I went through probably the biggest mental health, depression sort of situation of my life. And I kind of didn't really care what happened work-wise, and I stumbled into construction. I enjoyed it. I was outside. For my mental health, it felt the only thing that I felt good doing, and I ended up doing a mature age apprenticeship, and it was the best thing I've done really for a lot of aspects of my life. But the point of what I'm trying to say is, during that time I failed a bazillion times. Like, I literally, early on, I had no clue how to use tools. Like, I would use a tool, and I would literally got caught throwing a bit of a tool in the bin because I thought it was a disposable thing, but it was part of the tool, for example. I had like no idea what I was doing. I would make constant mistakes. I would constantly be the lowest of the low, like on the job site, 30, 31 years old, being treated like a kindergarten kid. Zero respect, constantly failing. And I guess where I'm going with that is, you gotta fail to learn what to do, to become competent. So I'm now about 4 to 5 years out of my qualified time, and I'm still very incompetent in certain areas. Some areas I'm going well or okay, and many areas I've still got to learn an absolute shitload. So that you can't achieve competency in anything or do anything new without failing. And I think that's the bit that tweaked in my mind. I'm like, okay, I get it now. It's the reason that you need to be cool with failing is what I just said, basically, which is that you cannot learn anything new. You can't become competent. You can't get anywhere without being open or having a threshold for failure. And basically what I think it is that people are afraid of failing. And the main part of that is, like, what will other people think of me? Or what will the client think of me? Or what will my friends think of me? So, for example, a lot of apprentices, me too, like, you never like to admit that you've done something wrong necessarily, or you feel ashamed of doing something wrong. because you don't want the other person to look down on you. But really, without that process, you're never ever going to learn anything new, or you're going to be living a very severely limited life. So I think what I'm saying is that the depression and the mental health was a conduit for me to not give a fuck about what other people thought of me for a space of time. And that space of time was enough for me to get qualified. And then I started to care again a little bit about what people thought. But then as I ran my business, I started to realize everybody's making it up. Everyone is winging it to some extent. And if we're not willing to be humbled and to fail, we're never going to progress in business. You're never going to try and do more complex projects. You're never going to expand. And that comes into, I think, absolutely everything in life. I don't think it's purely a business related thing. And I think what it is you can do pretty much whatever you want if you're willing to fail. So when people say you can do what you want, and it's kind of a bit cliched, it is. But if you're willing to fail enough, then I think you probably can. For example, like with my line of stuff, like we've failed heaps, and I've probably been conservative about the projects that I do so that I, try to rein it in, the failure rate. But I think this understanding that's coming to me is that you've got to embrace making mistakes, because once bitten, twice shy comes to mind. It's like you get burned once in a project, for example, and you lose money, and you ain't doing that mistake again. And it just makes you a better tradesman. It makes you a better business person, a better person when you fail at something, but you recognize the failure and you try to never do it again or improve it. So yeah, it's essentially my thought rant of the day is, it is actually a true statement. I believe that failure is the only way forward, the only way to grow. If you're continually living in a safe, coddled environment, I don't think that's conducive to major growth. And I think, we live in a society that is mega risk averse, and we don't like to have any unnecessary risks at all. And I think sometimes that can go a little bit too far. If you look at anyone, I think, that's gone on and to do fairly successful ambition, they've all failed absolute shitload. And even like this channel is an example of me trying to go outside my comfort zone and failing at it. Like, I know these videos are very average. I know that there's no editing. It's me driving in a car. I'm filming off an iPhone with a terrible little thing that shakes around. But I think if I don't start, I'm never going to start. And I will refine it as I go. I think I'm going to learn it as I go and get a little bit better. But I think if I don't be open to being shit at the start, then I don't think it's going to go anywhere. Anyway, I hope you guys got 1% nugget of value out of that. Talk to you next time.